This could be Canada's most extreme winter event yet, and I am not talking about one storm. I am not talking about one cold snap. I am talking about what is building right now as I record this on Tuesday, March 11th, 2026. A weather pattern so chaotic, so relentless that it is breaking records not through single events but through sheer accumulated punishment. We are 9 days into March and eastern Canada just survived minus 28-degree temperatures followed by an ice storm threat followed by temperature swings of 30 degrees in 5 days. Western Canada is getting hammered by a different system entirely. The prairies are buried under snow. And folks, the forecast for the next 3 weeks shows no mercy. More swings, more storms, more extreme events stacked so close together that infrastructure cannot recover between hits. Drop a comment right now and tell me where you are watching from and what the temperature is outside, because I guarantee half of you are experiencing something completely different from the other half. And that is exactly the problem with this pattern. Let me show you what has happened just in the past 10 days, because you need context to understand why this is the most extreme winter Canada has faced in decades. March 2nd, we had the Arctic blast. Ottawa hit minus 28 degrees Celsius that night. Toronto minus 18. Montreal minus 19. Wind chills across northern Ontario reached minus 48 degrees. Big Trout Lake, Muskrat Dam, Sandy Lake, these communities saw survival conditions. And that cold snap killed people. We are at 150 deaths across North America this winter. 30 people froze to death in New York City alone. 4 in Washington, D.C. Canadian cities have not released full numbers yet, but Toronto shelters were overwhelmed. Winnipeg shelters operating at double capacity. Montreal warming centers packed beyond limits. Then March 3rd, the system transitioned. That brutal Arctic air collided with warmer air pushing in from the south. Southern Ontario and Quebec got hit with freezing rain, ice accumulation, power outages, trees down, hydro crews working around the clock. Some areas in Ottawa and the St. Lawrence Valley saw ice buildup that took down power lines. Rural communities lost electricity for days. And before those crews could finish repairs, before people could catch their breath, the pattern flipped again. By March 7th, temperatures across southern Ontario and Quebec surged above zero. Toronto hit plus 8 degrees, Montreal plus 6, a 30-degree temperature swing from the cold snap to the warm-up in 5 days. And now today, March 11th, we are in another transition. Western Canada is getting pounded. A low-pressure system is tracking across the prairies dumping heavy snow. Saskatchewan and Manitoba are looking at 20 to 40 centimeters of snow today through tomorrow. Alberta is dealing with blowing snow and dangerous travel conditions. Meanwhile, eastern Canada sits in this bizarre mild pattern. Toronto is at plus 3 degrees today. Ottawa plus 1. Montreal plus 2. But that changes fast. The models are showing another cold shot arriving late this week, and then another system next week, and possibly another significant event the week after that. This is what makes this winter historically extreme. Not one epic blizzard, not one record cold snap, but relentless waves of extreme weather with no recovery time. Water mains cannot handle freeze-thaw cycles. In the past week alone, Ottawa saw over 50 water main breaks. Toronto over 30. These are not normal numbers, folks. Power grids get stressed when demand spikes during cold, then drops during warmth, then spikes again. Hydro-Quebec is asking customers to conserve energy because the grid is on the edge. One more major ice storm. One more widespread outage. The system cannot take it. Subscribe to this channel right now because March and April are going to be absolute chaos, and you need 72-hour warnings before each system hits so you can prepare. Let me break down what each province is dealing with today, March 11th, and what is coming. British Columbia, you have been mostly spared the worst of this winter. Vancouver is sitting at 9 degrees today with rain. Victoria similar. The interior has dealt with snow in the mountain passes, but nothing catastrophic. Your bigger concern is flooding. Snowpack across BC is running 110 to 120% of normal. When that melts in April and May, you are looking at significant flood risk. Rivers will swell. Low-lying areas will flood. This is not a maybe, this is a guarantee. Prepare now. Alberta, you are in the thick of it today. Calgary is dealing with snow and wind. Temperatures around -3 with wind chills making it feel like -10. Edmonton worse. -6 today with heavy snow. Visibility down to near zero in some areas. Highways are treacherous. The Queen Elizabeth II between Calgary and Edmonton is a disaster right now. Multiple accidents. Travel not recommended. This system continues through tomorrow, then finally starts to move east. But as soon as this one clears, the models show another system developing over the weekend. You get a one-day break, then it starts again. Saskatchewan, you are getting buried today. Regina is seeing heavy snow. 20 to 30 centimeters expected by tomorrow morning. Saskatoon similar. Roads are impassable. Schools closed. This is a full shutdown snow event, and the wind is brutal, gusting to 60 kilometers per hour. Blowing snow, creating whiteout conditions. If you are in Saskatchewan right now, stay home. Do not travel. This is dangerous. Manitoba, Winnipeg, you are next. The snow arrives tonight. 15 to 25 centimeters overnight into tomorrow. Temperatures around -8 with wind chills near -15. After what you went through earlier this month with the -25-degree cold and the shelter crisis, this is another punch you did not need. Ontario today is the calm before the next storm. Toronto +3 degrees. Cloudy, light wind. This feels almost spring like compared to 9 days ago when we were at -18. Ottawa +1. North Bay around 0. Thunder Bay still cold at -8, but this mild pattern does not last. Late this week, Thursday into Friday, another cold front drops south. Temperatures fall back below 0, and we could see snow. Nothing like the prairies are getting, but enough to remind you winter is not over. The bigger concern is next week. The models are showing a potential major system developing over the Great Lakes around March 18th to 20th. Could bring significant snow to southern Ontario, could bring more ice. The track is uncertain, but the ingredients are there for another major event. Quebec, you are in the same pattern as Ontario. Montreal +2 today. Quebec City around 0. Gatineau +1. Sherbrooke 0. Mild now, but changing soon. The power grid is still recovering from the outages earlier this month. Hydro-Quebec has crews working overtime. But if we get another ice storm next week, more power lines go down, more outages. And folks, the homeless population in Montreal cannot survive another round of this. The shelters are maxed out. The Canadian Red Cross doubled warming center capacity, and it is still not enough. We need a break. We need weather to stabilize. But the pattern will not allow it. Atlantic Canada, you have been through hell this winter. That nor'easter in late February buried you under record snow. Halifax got over 50 centimeters. St. John similar. Then the Arctic blast. Then the ice threat. And now you are in a mild pattern. Halifax +4 today. But like the rest of eastern Canada, this changes. Another system could bring snow to the Maritimes this weekend. Not a major storm, but another 5 to 10 centimeters. At some point, the snowpack becomes dangerous. Roofs start to collapse. This happened in Newfoundland last week. 3 roof collapses from snow weight, 1 person injured. Folks, if you are in Atlantic Canada and you have not cleared your roof, do it now, before the next snowfall. If this information is saving your life, hit that like button and share this video with everyone you know, because people need advance warning, and your shares make the difference between someone being prepared and someone being caught off guard. Now let me talk about the United States, because you are dealing with the same pattern and the impacts are just as severe. The Midwest is getting hammered today. Minneapolis is seeing heavy snow with accumulations of 10 to 15 centimeters expected. Chicago dealing with lake effect snow off Lake Michigan, adding another 5 to 10 centimeters on top of what fell yesterday. Detroit, same story, with I-75 and I-94 both reporting multiple accidents and slow-moving traffic. The Northeast just came off a warm-up where Boston hit 50 degrees Fahrenheit, and now another system is moving in this weekend. New York could see snow Saturday into Sunday. Not massive amounts, maybe 3 to 6 inches, but enough to be disruptive after people thought spring was starting. Boston, similar forecast. Portland, Maine could see heavier amounts, 8 to 12 inches. Philadelphia might see a mix of rain and snow on the northern edge. The pattern across North America is stuck in this amplified regime. We have this highly amplified jet stream creating big northward and southward waves. Cold plunges deep into the south. Warmth surges far into the north. Then it flips. Rinse repeat every few days, and it is not stopping anytime soon. The polar vortex split that happened March 3rd to 5th set this up. The vortex broke into 2 pieces. One sitting over northern Canada, one over Siberia. This creates persistent troughing over North America. Cold air keeps getting pulled south. AccuWeather long-range forecasters are warning this pattern could continue through the end of March, possibly into early April. NOAA Climate Prediction Center shows above normal precipitation across most of Canada through the end of March. Below normal temperatures. That means more snow, more ice, more cold. The Weather Network is sticking with their magnified March Madness forecast. They are calling for continued temperature swings and active storm track through late March. And here's the kicker. April is not looking much better. The long-range models show colder than normal temperatures persisting across most of Canada through mid-April. Real spring warmth probably does not arrive until late April or early May. That is 6 more weeks of this pattern, folks. 6 more weeks of temperature swings and storms and infrastructure stress. Now let me talk about what nobody else will cover: the human cost. 150 people dead across North America this winter. That is a verified number from multiple sources. USA Today, CBC News, The City in New York. And those are just the confirmed deaths. How many people died alone in their homes when heat failed? How many homeless individuals died in places where bodies were not found until spring thaw? The real toll is higher. Toronto has 540 temporary shelter spaces added this winter. Not enough. Winnipeg shelters serving 1,500 meals a day in facilities designed for 400. Not sustainable. Montreal warming centers doubled capacity from 50 to 100. Still not enough. New York City has seen at least 30 hypothermia deaths, and the city has over 4,000 people living on the streets. Every cold snap kills more people. Every ice storm that knocks out power puts vulnerable populations at risk. Elderly people living alone without backup heat. People with medical conditions who need electricity for equipment. Homeless individuals who cannot access shelters because they are full. This is the hidden crisis of this extreme winter. The weather makes headlines. The death toll gets buried in statistics. And the infrastructure damage is staggering. Water main breaks across Canada are in the thousands. Ottawa alone has had over 200 breaks since January 1st. Toronto over 100. Montreal similar numbers. Every break costs tens of thousands of dollars to repair. Every break leaves homes without water for hours or days. Power outages this winter have affected millions. The blizzard in late February knocked out power for 650,000 customers. Ice storms in early March added more. Some rural areas in Quebec were without power for a week. The economic cost is astronomical. Insurance claims from winter storms this year are projected to exceed $2 billion in Canada alone. Burst pipes, roof collapses, vehicle accidents, lost productivity from business closures. The agricultural sector is getting crushed. Maple syrup producers lost production days from ice storms during sugaring season. Dairy farms had to dump milk when power outages meant refrigeration failed. Livestock losses from extreme cold. Subscribe one more time if you have not already, because I am tracking every system through March and April and giving you the exact timing and impacts so you can protect yourself and your family. Let me give you the rest of March forecast, because you need to know what is coming. This week, Wednesday through Friday, we see another cold push across eastern Canada. Nothing like the Arctic blast from March 2nd, but enough to drop temperatures back below seasonal. Saturday, March 15th, a system develops over the central United States and tracks northeast. This brings snow to southern Ontario and Quebec Saturday night into Sunday. Models showing 5 to 15 centimeters possible. Toronto, Ottawa, Montreal all in the path. This clears by Monday, March 17th. Then the big one, March 18th to 22nd, the pattern sets up for a potentially major event. The models are not locked in yet, but we could be looking at a significant storm affecting the Great Lakes and St. Lawrence Valley. This could be snow. This could be ice. This could be a bomb cyclone like the one that hit in late February. The European model is showing a deep low pressure system. The American GFS model shows similar. When both models agree this far out, you pay attention. I will have updates as we get closer, but everyone in Ontario and Quebec needs to be aware this is possible. Late March into early April, the pattern remains active. More systems, more temperature swings. The Climate Prediction Center is showing elevated chances for below normal temperatures and above normal precipitation across eastern Canada through the first week of April. Western Canada shows near normal temperatures but continued active weather. The bottom line is this winter is not over. We are not transitioning smoothly into spring. We are grinding through 6 more weeks of volatile, dangerous weather. Now let me give you preparation advice, because if you survived everything so far, you can survive the next 6 weeks, but you need to be smart. First, have supplies on hand at all times. Do not wait until the storm warning is issued to go to the store. Stock non-perishable food, water, batteries, medications. Keep your vehicle gas tank above half full. Have an emergency kit in your car. Blankets, flashlight, jumper cables, cat litter for traction, phone charger. If you slide off the road in a snowstorm, you might wait hours for help. For your home, have backup heat if possible. Fireplace, wood stove. Make sure chimneys are clear. Have a plan if power goes out. Where will you go if you cannot stay home? Family, friends, hotel. Do not try to heat your home with gas ovens or charcoal grills. Carbon monoxide kills. Generators must be outside. 20 feet from windows and doors. Carbon monoxide detectors need fresh batteries. Check on vulnerable neighbors, elderly folks living alone, people with medical needs. Make sure they have supplies. Make sure someone checks on them if a storm hits. In extreme weather, community matters. Look out for each other. Monitor weather forecasts closely. Environment Canada issues warnings for a reason. Winter storm warnings, freezing rain warnings, extreme cold warnings. When these are issued, take them seriously. Adjust your plans. Do not travel if you do not have to. Schools close for a reason. Highways close for a reason. Respect the warnings. And folks, if you see someone outside in extreme cold, call for help. Give them your old winter coat. Direct them to warming centers. After 150 deaths this winter, we cannot afford to lose more people. The homeless population is suffering. Shelters are overwhelmed, but we can help. Donate to shelters. Volunteer. Advocate for more resources. These are human beings dying in the cold. The signs of hypothermia are confusion, slurred speech, fumbling hands. If shivering stops, that is dangerous. That means core temperature has dropped too low. Get the person inside. Warm them gradually. Call 911. For frostbite, watch for white or grayish skin. Numbness, hard waxy texture. Do not rub frostbite. Warm gradually with body heat or lukewarm water. Seek medical attention. In severe cases, frostbite leads to amputation. Let me put this winter in perspective because the numbers tell a story. We have had 4 major cold snaps since January. The first one mid-January saw temperatures across the prairies drop below -40 for days. Winnipeg recorded 30 consecutive days below -30 degrees Celsius, which had not happened since 1898. The second cold snap, late January, brought the deep freeze to eastern Canada. Ottawa saw 18 consecutive days below freezing. Toronto similar. The third was late February during that massive blizzard. Providence, Rhode Island got 37.9 inches of snow, setting an all-time record. The bomb cyclone that produced that storm dropped 41 millibars in 24 hours. And the fourth was March 2nd, when Ottawa hit -28. Between these cold snaps, we have had multiple ice storm threats. The late February event, the early March event. Each time, power lines ice up, trees come down, rural areas lose electricity. We have had record-breaking snowfall events. The blizzard of 2026 in late February caused $34 to $38 billion in damage according to AccuWeather. 650,000 power outages, 20,000 flights canceled, over 100 deaths attributed to that single storm system. Temperature swings are unprecedented. Toronto went from -18 on March 2nd to +11 on March 7th. Winnipeg from -25 to +2 in 4 days. These swings stress everything. Water mains break, power grids overload, building materials expand, and contract causing structural damage. Your home foundation cracks, your roof develops leaks, your driveway buckles. Power outages this winter have affected millions of customers multiple times. Some areas of Quebec were hit 3 times. Lose power in the ice storm, get it back, lose it again in the next storm. Rural communities are being told power restoration could take a week because crews cannot keep up. Water main breaks are in the thousands nationwide. Ottawa over 200 breaks, Toronto over 100. Every major city in Canada has seen double or triple the normal number of breaks. 150 confirmed deaths and counting. Infrastructure on the brink. Shelter systems overwhelmed. Emergency services stretched beyond capacity. And we still have 6 weeks to go before real spring arrives. This is not normal winter variability. This is a pattern that has become stuck. The polar vortex disruptions, the wavy jet stream, the Arctic amplification. Climate scientists have been warning that as the Arctic warms faster than the rest of the planet, it weakens the jet stream. Cold air spills south more easily. We get these extreme excursions, and infrastructure built for 20th century weather cannot handle 21st century extremes. But we are adapting. Utilities are hardening infrastructure. Cities are expanding shelter capacity. Emergency response is improving. We learn from each event. We get better prepared, and we help each other through. The bottom line is this. Today, March 11th, 2026, we are in the middle of Canada's most extreme winter in decades. Not because of one monster storm that breaks records and then passes, but because of relentless accumulated punishment from multiple systems. System after system hitting before we can recover. Cold snap after cold snap with no sustained breaks. No recovery time between events. Infrastructure that could handle one major storm cannot handle 5 major storms in 6 weeks. And the pattern continues through March into early April with no signs of letting up. Another cold push this week, dropping temperatures back below seasonal norms. Snow this weekend across southern Ontario and Quebec, 5 to 15 centimeters possible. Potentially major storm March 18th to 22nd that could rival anything we have seen this winter. Continued active weather through month end with more systems in the pipeline. You can survive this. Stock supplies, monitor forecasts, have backup plans, help vulnerable neighbors, respect warnings, do not take unnecessary risks, and understand that in 6 weeks this will be over. Late April brings real warmth. Spring will come, but until then we grind through. Stay safe out there, folks. We have made it this far. We can make it 6 more weeks. Take care of yourselves and each other.